Okay, so we've created our tables. We have our employees table with employee ID, first name, last name, and home phone. And we have our offices table, office ID, city, state, and phone. Now we need to put some data in here. There are a number of ways to put data into your tables. And I'm going to show you several different ways in this lecture so that you know how to do it. And that way you can sort of choose the option that's going to work best for the given situation. For this lecture, you'll be using the downloads that are available in the course. And if you don't have Excel or don't have access to Excel, that's okay. I'm going to show you how to import data from Excel, but I'm also going to show you how to do it with a CSV file, which is just a simple text file that should work on any computer. And I've included those files in the downloads so you can use them. So the first way is just to enter it manually. And again, this is not the recommended way to do it, especially because when someone is entering this manually, we're going to be creating a form later in the course that they will be entering the data into. And as I've said before, forms are a better way to enter data than directly into a table. But just to show you how you go about entering it into a table, you would click here on the next record, and I want this one to be Los Angeles, California. And I can hit enter or tab, and then I can enter the phone number, and I'm just going to copy and paste the phone number. And then when I hit enter and go to the next line, or tab and go to the next line, that record is now part of the database. Now obviously, if we have thousands or millions of entries here, manually entering them is not going to be ideal. Particularly if we already have, for instance, an Excel spreadsheet that we're creating this database from, or any organized list of data that we want to create this list from. So let me show you how to import and append data from other sources. If you already have a well-established table and you're adding information to it, you may want to append your table. If you're creating a brand new table, then it's usually easiest to just import. But first let's talk about appending. So I have two entries here and I'm going to add to this list. So you can see we have Boise and Los Angeles so far. So let's switch over to an Excel spreadsheet where I have the entire list of offices and office IDs. This would be the perfect time to download the file employees.xlsx from the course downloads and then save it to a spot on your computer where you can find it. That way you can follow along and append and import your first spreadsheets into Access. So you can see we have the whole list here, and we already have Boise and Los Angeles in our Access database. So what we'll do is we'll highlight the two of those and we'll just delete them. Now you'll also notice that we have the exact same column headings here as we do in Access. We have our office ID, city, state, and phone. It's really important that this information is exactly the same. So I wouldn't want to have this say work phone and then in my Access database it says just phone, because it's going to give me errors. Okay? And another thing I need to do before I append this is I need to remove these office IDs, because Access is going to automatically assign them because I already have a primary key set up. So I'm just going to delete those, save that. We'll go back to Access. We'll go to External Data. We'll click on the Import and Links section here. We're going to choose Excel. We're going to browse to the Excel file that we're appending. And if I just type in table EMP in the search bar, it's going to bring back my table that I'm looking for. Click on that. Now it's loaded in there, and now I'm going to click append, and we're bringing that worksheet to the offices table, and I'm going to click OK. It gives me this pop-up because it says that my table is still open and it has to be saved and closed in order to continue. So I'm just going to click yes, and it will close it for me. And now I have 3 worksheets on this particular spreadsheet, this Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to click on Offices. You can also select by named ranges. If you have groups of cells in Excel that have been selected and named into a range, then you can choose by that as well. But where I have 3 worksheets, employees, offices, and table design in this particular Excel file, I'm going to choose this worksheet, which is Offices. And you can see it's showing exactly what we want it to show. Click Next. It's automatically selecting the headers because it recognizes these headers that match with my access table. So it doesn't even allow me to not choose that option, which is perfectly normal. And then I'm going to click Next. Yes, I want to import it into Offices. No, I would not like the wizard to analyze it. And then Finish. Would you like to save your steps? If you're doing this over and over, like your boss is consistently sending you Excel data, having you append it to a table or import it to a table, then yes, you would want to save your steps so you can just do this quickly and easily over and over. But we're not going to do that in this case. And then close. Then you can see my Offices table is populated now. But you can see now we have all 8 of our office IDs, our cities, states, and phone numbers all imported. And you'll notice there's another table over here that Access created. If we open this, you'll see this is just a list of errors for our import process. And you can see it says null value in an auto number field under the office ID field, and it's showing rows 1 through 6. And so you look at what we imported, and we imported 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are rows 1 through 6 from our import. And these were the ones that were blank with the office ID. But because it was for an auto number field, it automatically filled those in for us, and they match up just nicely. So it works, but it's not ideal. Anyway, we're going to close out of this. Would you like to save changes? No. And we're just going to delete the error table and click Yes. Okay, so that's how you would append the information in there, but you can see it's a little bit of a pain because you have to be really careful for what you already have in there and what you're adding and trying to keep it all straight. But that's how you append data into an existing table structure. So in the next lecture, I'll show you how to import data into a brand new table. It's a little bit cleaner and a little easier to do.